if you don't want it, if you want it, they won't let you. But if you don't, they will make you. And it's not great, James says. I wanted to focus on intention. If I understand correctly, bestowal, we're not talking about physical action of giving from one person to another. But millions of people are doing that. That's nonsense, Rav says. Of course, intention. What is it? Why am I doing that? What for? Who is benefiting? Something internal, something inner, concealed. It's a very serious problem, because man has to study a deep self-analysis, very profound self-analysis. And when he begins to take this, to engage in that, he begins to reveal extent to which he lacks inner definitions, measurements, sensations, all kinds of comparisons. There, where his development happens, occurs. By that, he begins to develop his soul, that comparative structure, mechanism between the evil and good, himself and others, that practically a normal person lacks. When he develops that, he begins to feel that he has an inner void, inner space that he can fill with new attitude to others. Precisely that void, that empty space is called the soul of man. Gradually, by building it, by positioning it, organizing it, by generating it, giving it birth to it with your own efforts, strain, by that exertion, by that you build yourself. And that happens between men and women? No, it happens within each and every one, every person. How does that relate to women and men? Men and women have the same stages of growth, but under the influence of different methods of growth. It's like in our life. When you, like a man exists in this life, he exists, he lives differently, has different interests, job, and hobbies. He has a kind of different life, different style of life, not a woman's life, and they're different, but really, we don't pay attention to that, but they're so different, and psychologically, it's entirely strange and alien and separated from the other. In the spiritual world, it's the same. Seemingly, we exist parallel, but the method of development, the spiritual method development, the method of spiritual development is drastically different in men and women. Man within him is comprised of man and woman's part, and woman as well, and then reveal that, and after that, when they enter in the spiritual, there happens a special interaction between the universal man and universal woman parts. On the bestowal, level of bestowal, it doesn't relate. It doesn't have nothing to do with bodies. You said that the man has a man and woman parts, and woman has the same. They're inter-included into one another. If you ask sociological and biologists, they will tell you that there are all kinds of chromosomes and biological attributes that we have and men have on their own, and women have different attributes. You talk about chromosomes. No, I'm talking about inclusion of spiritual attributes in this to one another. But as a consequence in our world, so it is. When you're talking about women and men, you're talking about attributes, spiritual attributes that I, as a person, have male part and a woman part in me. I thought that I just want only male attributes. It's just not very not literate to say so. You didn't study biology in your school, but again you're talking about chromosomes. In the school I didn't teach Kabbalah, unfortunately. Kabbalah or biology or botanics or geology or whatever you're going to be talking about, it's the same thing on all levels. The The universe is built on the same conditions, but the difference is the substance itself, which is more coarse and less coarse, more refined. But the interactions and positioning between the parts is the same. If I'm a botanist, if I'm going to reach the spiritual, I'm going to be catching butterflies. You're talking about biology and botanics. This is how I see it. I'm sorry, it's not easy. We will have a topic that is simply about Kabbalah, and there you will coach, you will be able. No. We with Misha will be able to pose questions in such a way that you will be able to explain why, first of all, the Kabbalah is science, which is not chemistry and physics. It is a chemistry, and it is, and on the other hand, why botanics with botherflies and other sciences are not Kabbalah. They're part of Kabbalah. Okay, tell us about the woman's attributes in Genia. What attributes do a woman I have in me? What do you mean by that? The attributes of bestowal, man's attributes, but of course they are distorted in this world, and women attributes cannot exist one without the other, like one plus without the minus, like in any amoeba or microorganism. Remember, the special kind of amoeba that they're all studying in school. There's always a plus and minus. It's impossible to. The life is just can't happen without that. Can exist. If you want anything to develop, that developing thing has to have plus and minus in it. One that pushes to develop, and the other that develops itself. The plus and minus, the resistance between them, and that gives rise to further attributes. It could be mechanical. It could be on the still and animate and vegetative on any kind of level. Therefore, Kabbalah, we're talking about the attribute of joining, of unification of Malchut and Bina, opposite attributes. The attributes of Bina, bestowal, attribute of Malchut, reception only in their balancing act between them gives rise to another attribute. They can procreate, and that is the symbol of man and woman, and plus and minus. Doesn't matter on which level these forces appear. Only their development, life can happen if one something gives and the other receives, and something is transformed from one form to the other. And that, so I have two attributes. I have corrupted bestowal and reception. Woman's part, corrupted, and reception is when I want something from another, when I want to use someone. What I want to say is your body is so built, and your thoughts and your desires on every level, and mental level, physical, physiological, level of desire, the level of attributes, whatever there be, you are always consisted of giving and receiving particles, elements. And these elements are these plus and minus that you defined in the beginning as man and woman, the primordial, the original sources of these attributes. Well, we have another question, which is from Czech Republic without signature. If you watch women, clever question, seriously. If you watch the women from the prism of the history, you can see the extent that they develop quickly and qualitatively. On the other hand, men are falling behind, and falling behind women in many aspects. What is the reason for that? I don't really know. I haven't seen serious works about that. What I want to say is that women are always sitting in the home, and they were not studying, and now they did no education, and suddenly they made the breakthrough. They suddenly turned into scientists, they astronauts, they take serious prominent positions everywhere. I don't see anything positive in that. Rav says, I thought, where did he get this data, this information, physical level? The fact that we corrupted, distorted, perverted this world to such an extent that the woman left its original circle and began to engage in politics, some kind of uncharacteristic, unnatural professions for her.